Hey guys, welcome back to Fancy Tip. Max with you today for more of a conversation and insights rather than rankings and specific projections. We're going to talk about players on their contract years. Now, it's a well-known thing in sports. These contract year phenomena demonstrate a documented trend of players elevating their game when their future income is on the line. They are human beings just like us after all. Some studies over the past 10 years show mixed results. One of them says players under 30 years old on contract years are 27% more likely to gain a boost and have a career year. Another study focused on players ranked by points per 60 minutes of 5-on-5 play found that the top 25% of players did see a significant increase in their performance in their contract year. With that being said, it's not a universal trend, and there's a lot of factors that play a role in a player's performance. We'll start with Anaheim. I'm happy we're starting with the Ducks because in Anaheim we have a 20 and a 21-year-old whose rookie contracts are expiring. Top 5 picks Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier, who both scored 20 goals last year, will be looking for a payday. They both will be RFAs, which means no other team can sign them directly. What happens when a top prospect finishes his rookie contract is one of two things. Number one, a bridge deal, which is normally 2-3 years from $3.5 to $5.5 million a year, or a long-term deal of 5 to 8 years that would give these players $40 to $60 million, sometimes even more. Cutter Gauthier's ADP is currently 163. Leo Carlsson doesn't own one at the moment. I love them as late round picks. I don't know what the Ducks power play will look like yet, but these are definitely guys who will grind to get the best contract available and cash in early. They both could be top 150 players by season's end. For the defense, Jacob Trouba and Radko Gudas will be amazing in deeper banger leagues, Cats leagues. Trouba is part of the triple 100 club year after year in shots, hits, blocks. Gudas has been one of the best hitters for years, so they're on the older side, so they'll want to give a good impression. In Boston, we have Victor Arvidsson, only 27 points with Edmonton last year, low peripherals, on a new team, so obviously I'm not drafting. However, he might end up being a decent waiver wire pickup at some points in the season. In Buffalo, we have Alex Tuch, who is ranked 95th on Yahoo, but his ADP is all the way down to 151. This is great value for a guy on a contract year. He's got 2 seasons of 36 goals in the past 3 years, and one of those seasons, he went above a point per game. I love Tuch in the mid-rounds, and not many right wingers scoring 35 plus goals with a potential of 40 plus is around this ADP. Michael Kesselring is a great defenseman with size. I would want him on my actual team, but it doesn't always translate well to fantasy. He's more of a little bit of everything guy for super deep Cats League. Problem is, they have Bowen Byram, Owen Power, and Rasmus Dahlin ahead on the depth chart. In Calgary, Mikael Backlund's career is trending downwards as he gets older. His main appeal was the double position and his face-off abilities, but Yahoo has him as a center only right now. I think the regression will keep happening here. Morgan Frost will cut into his playing time. As for Rasmus Andersson, he's fresh off his worst year of his career with a disgusting minus 38. Andersson might be a bounce back candidate. Listen, he's got 169 points in the last 4 seasons and only missed 8 games. If Uyghur gets injured, the door will be open for Andersson. With that being said, I'm still not drafting Andersson in the top 175. He's only 28 years old, and he needs a good year if he wants to get paid. In Chicago, we have Connor Bedard, who is at the end of his rookie contract, freshly 20 years old, back-to-back 60-plus point season. He should keep elevating his game. I don't think anybody sees him regressing. Ilya Mireyev is an interesting player. He got 20 goals last year and a surprising +4. Sometimes I watch him play and he's just skating around, but the stats don't lie. He must be doing something right without the puck. 18-man, 20-man leagues and deeper formats, I wouldn't mind him as one of the last picks. just to start the year and see where he fits in the lineup. Nick Foligno and Jason Dickinson are waiver wire pickups and obviously fades going into the draft. Connor Murphy is an elite shot blocker who's had a lot of injuries recently. He is on a contract year and has a chip on his shoulder. Point leagues, close your ears. Cats League, this guy is a great 6-7 defenseman for your squad if blocks have decent value in your league. And finally in Chicago, we have Shea Weber, who's a top 5 round pick, one of the hardest shots in the game. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is 2025, not 2015. Please don't draft him. I'm just kidding. Martin Necas will be playing on the top line with Nathan McKinnon. And I can almost guarantee you guys that he will be a PP1 staple all year long. 83 points in 79 games last season, 26 years old, plays with the best player on the planet in my opinion, on a contract year. Martin Necas is one of the reasons why we're making this video. The potential here is 95 plus points with 40 coming from the power play. I love his ADP of 50 and I'm all in on him. Jack Drury, Victor Olofsson are bottom 6 depth pieces, potentially PP2 options, good short-term waiver wire pickups. Olofsson has one of the most accurate shots in the NHL. Brent Burns' ADP of 143 is way too low. Now 40 years old, I will be rooting for him, but I'm fading in fantasy. Do not draft him anywhere close to his ADP. We have a panoply of Blue Jackets forwards hitting the market next summer. Columbus top 9 is mostly young and stacked. Boone Jenner will be a UFA and one of my favorite fantasy players to own. He does everything. He shoots, he hits, he wins faceoffs, plays power play, plays shorthanded. His ADP of 173 is beautiful, especially for Cats leagues. Charlie Cole will be in the bottom 6 and most likely a fade. Fantilli leads the RFAs with an ADP of 176. He finished the year with 24 goals and 39 points in the final 44 games of the season and going into the year as a massive sleeper. Not many centermen under 25 years old can score 30, and Adam Fantilli is only 20 years old. Shinnikov and Sillinger are not bad late round picks. I would favor the Russian as a last round pick between the two. They're both double eligible position. Jason Robertson in Dallas, I spoke about him in prior videos. Top line with Hintz and Rantanen and one of the most stacked team in the league. I like his ADP. Contract year shows me we're getting above a point per game pace out of him and possibly more. Jimmy Benn needs 44 points to get to 1,000. That and a new contract might be good motivation. However, I don't see him eclipse 50 points this season. More of an elite early waiver wire option. Thomas Harley is also on a contract year and will fight up with Iskinen for PP1 time. I personally don't like his ADP of 74, but we can still expect 45 to 55 points as he'll be looking to get paid. In Detroit, we have Patrick Kane, great depth, a little less for Cats leagues. He's a boom or bust option in standard drafts. At pick 162, it's good value and he should remain on PP1 all year long. I expect Simon Edvinsson to finally get the PP2 quarterback spot, 6'6", 7 goals, 31 points last season. Kind of surprised he's not being drafted a little more. 86 hits and 144 blocks at 21 years old. I expect points to be somewhat the same, but those peripherals should go even higher on a contract year. In Edmonton, we have McJesus on a contract year. Doesn't really change anything fantasy-wise. He's still McDavid and a top 2 overall pick for sure. Vasily Podkolzin is a super deep league sleeper. I think he starts the season in the top 6. It will be his to lose in preseason. On a contract year, it's make or break. Maybe don't draft him, but tag him on the waiver wire and look at the first week or so to see how he's doing, especially for deeper leagues. Jake Wallman and Matthias Ekholm. How in the world is Brent Burns being drafted around the same time as Wallman and ahead of Ekholm? That's beyond me. They both should see at least 30 points, bare minimum, with really good shot and block volume. I also like the fact that they'll get residual points from Draisaitl and McDavid. Love these two at their ADPs. In Florida, we have another sleeper pick, but that could even be drafted in standard leagues. Maki Samoskevich only played 4 playoff games because Florida were back healthy, but during the season, he was an absolute menace. 11 power play points with just under 2 shots and hits per game, With Matthew Tkachuk out long term, the door is right open for him to make his mark, especially on a contract here with the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. In Los Angeles, we got the entire first line set to become UFAs. Kuzmenko is hot and cold. Kempe will be looking to gain more than $5.5 million per year, and Kopitar will want a nice last paycheck. For me, Kuzmenko is only an elite waiver wire option in standard. I like a few other players like Martin Nakash around Adrian Kempe's ADP of 50, but if Kempe drops a little bit, he's a good option. Kopitar in the late rounds never disappoints, and Brian Clark had a good first full season with 33 points, but couldn't become the D1 the Kings expect him to be without Doughty. Once again, he'll be battling Drew for minutes. I expect the deal to be done during the season, probably a bridge deal, and we should see very similar numbers to last season. Is Kirill Kaprizov the most underrated player in the league? I mean, his biggest challenge will be to remain healthy. It will be crucial for his next contract. Apart from that, we know he's a superstar, contract year or not, but rumor has it that he refused a $16 million contract per year. That's how confident he is, and that bodes well for fantasy. I like him in the top 7 of round 1. Matt Zuccarello and Vladimir Tarasenko are both getting older and not being drafted right now. However, they're both lining up to start the year in the top 6, and both should get power play time. Zuccarello is still an elite playmaker at 38 years old and should still see PP1 time, which makes him a very good late round pick, even in standard. Tarasenko is more of a gamble for deeper leagues, and I know most of you are fading, but keep an eye out for him on the waiver wire. In Montreal, we have Patrick Laine in the last year of his contract getting paid $8.7 million. If he wants to keep getting paid that same kind of money, he has no choice but to score 40 this season. He's a power play specialist, and his ADP of 170 is gorgeous, even with the injury history. Kirby Dak, low risk, high reward for deeper leagues. Let's see how he looks during preseason. Definitely keeping an eye on him in his double position. For the defense, we have Lane Hudson on a contract here. I think Montreal will sign him during the season to a long-term deal. No bridge here. I'm definitely scared of his ADP and the sophomore blues that comes with it. Michael Matheson at 184 is great as your last defenseman, especially being on the older side, during a contract year. If Lane Hudson goes down with injury, Matheson will end up being a steal as he will be the quarterback for the PP1. In Nashville, we have Michael Bunting and Eric Holla, who are draft irrelevant, good waiver wire players. Maybe Bunting ends up being a sleeper, but I'm not counting on it. Zachary Lheureux doesn't own an ADP, but he did get 198 hits in 62 games last season. Good banger league option, depending on the settings. He could even get career highs in points. In New Jersey, we have Yevgeny Dadonov, who is the only player in the NHL who got 40 points playing under 14 minutes per game. His role will be secondary scoring, and he'll most likely be on the PP2. He's unfortunately just another good waiver wire option to start the year. In New York, we have 2 guys without ADPs who will probably be picked up and dropped many times in some standard formats. Anders Lee has 28 goals in 3 of the past 4 seasons. Pajot is a phenomenal Swiss knife player who covers many categories. 1 point every 2 games with face-off hits. PP2 option and one of the best short-handed guy in the league. These 2 guys are better than some ranked players, honestly. Tony DeAngelo is an interesting case as well. Kind of a gamble. I'm not sure Schaefer is ready to be the PP1 QB from the get-go. And Noah Dobson has been traded. Therefore, Tony DeAngelo is a sneaky late round pick who has the potential for 50 plus points. On the other side of New York, we have Artemi Panarin. The Breadman is on his contract here. The last time he did, he had a career high at the time of 95 points in 2019. This is probably the last chance he gets to get a big payday. And I don't expect the Rangers to be as bad as last year. Panarin should flirt with 100 points by the end of the year. In Ottawa, we have Claude Giroux and David Perron, who are getting older. The decline has slowly begun. I still think Giroux has something to offer in some leagues. 50 points last season, 18 power plays, shorthanded time, and face-off wins. While he normally holds all three positions available, it makes him somewhat valuable as a nice depth piece. It's hard to predict what Shane Pinto is going to do on a contract year with Stützle and Dylan Cousins ahead of him on the depth chart. I love him, but right now, he's only a great waiver wire option to begin the year. In Philadelphia, Trevor Zegras will get his chances. With a rank of 261 and no ADP, it really is a make or break situation for him. I think he's an excellent late round pick for points leagues. Cats League owners, you can skip here. Christian Dvorak should also be in the top 6 with PP2 time, but not worthy of being drafted anywhere. I've said it before. I think Jamie Drysdale is the PP1D in Philadelphia to start the year. PP1 guys, especially defensemen who are not being drafted right now, bring incredible late round value. It's a gamble, but with minimal risk. Yevgeny Malkin has an ADP of 177. With the double eligibility, that ranking makes so much sense to me. It's not about the contract year, more about bringing Pittsburgh to the playoffs one last time. I think he can near the 70-point mark in the top 6, logging in big minutes, even if he misses 15 games or so. I have a good feeling about Malkin's production this upcoming season. It's just a hunch. In San Jose, we have Jeff Skinner. The Edmonton experiment was a nightmare. He signed a 1-year deal, $3 million contract with San Jose this summer. And if he gets back to playing to his level, he can see his contract almost double next summer. He'll have the chance to play alongside Macklin Celebrini or Will Smith, two young high IQ centermen. If he does well, he could be traded to a contender at the deadline. Jeff Skinner is a decent last round gamble for points leagues. Timothy Liljegren is on a contract year as well and could end up being one of the best streams of October. John Klingberg has only played 25 games in the last 2 years. Mario Ferraro and Dmitry Orlov are not known to be PP1 options. That leaves the door right open for Liljegren to take the job. He has more experience than the other young defense like Mudulin or Thompson on San Jose. It's kind of a long shot, but if you're in a deeper league, no one's really looking at San Jose's PP1 defenseman right now, or they're just assuming Klingberg was signed for that. Keep an eye open as Liljegren is on a contract year and will get his chances. In Seattle, we have Tolvanen, Eberle, Jaden Schwartz, Mason Marchment. I'm personally staying away from Kraken players as their top 9 will share the points, and they're not known to be great on the peripheral side of things. I think Marchment will need time to build chemistry. The only player I'm drafting here, obviously, is Eeli Tolvanen for Cats Leagues. 237 hits last season, good for 13th league-wide. 3 years in a row where he compiles between 31 and 41 points with more than 200 hits. 23 goals last year makes him an attractive late-round pick. He's been one of my waiver wire weapons for years now, and I invite you to hop on the train. He's really fun to have. In St. Louis, I hope you didn't forget how good Dylan Holloway was last year. Edmonton must feel really, really stupid because he's the exact kind of player they're missing right now. He shoots and hits more than twice a game, should get back to the 60-point plateau and get a long-term deal done in St. Louis. His ADP of 95 is good for Cats League. I'd let him drop closer to rank 110 and above for points leagues. Their defense is Cam Fowler and Phil Broberg. Fowler's ADP is way too low without hits and consistent blocks. Broberg is a big gamble. We've seen last year for a month how good he could be. They both are on their contract years, but clock is ticking fast for Cam Fowler. If he doesn't produce, there are literally 4 or 5 guys on St. Louis who can take the PP1 spot on short notice. Cam Fowler should have good value if he drops past pick 160. Broberg has had 65 points in 87 games at the AHL level and does have a higher ceiling than what we've seen so far. In Tampa Bay, Oliver Bjorkstrand is on line 3 on daily faceoff. I think he should start the year in the top 6. He got 5 goals in 18 games with Tampa last year after the deadline, 21 in total. Now on a contract year and with a better team, there's a real possibility he achieves career highs in goals and points. He's gotten at least 20 goals in the last 4 campaigns, but he's never hit 30. He might not be ready on time, which is kind of the reason I'm guessing why he's not being drafted at the moment. For deeper leagues, you can draft him in the late rounds and put him on IR until he comes back, even if he isn't ready. I think he's a nice stash. And Darren Radish had career highs and is on his contract here. The problem is his peripherals are horrible. I'd stay clear in all formats. It's a bait. In Toronto, we have McMahon, Scott Lawton, Kaye Jarnkrok, who will all be waiver wire options. McMahon and Lawton could be fancy depth for deeper Cats leagues. In Utah, let's start off by saying Barrett Hayton and Nick Schmaltz are incredible waiver wire pickups. Some leagues, they will be fringe starters. Both should have a role on the power play, but their peripherals aren't great and they should not be drafted in standard formats. Logan Cooley, however, is now undeniably the number 1 setter in Utah. He's on the line with Clayton Keller and Dylan Genter. I expect him to keep progressing and obtain closer to 75 points this year, which would make him a value pick at his ADP of 156. Especially on a contract year, I don't think he wants a bridge deal. In Vancouver, we got 2 grid guys. Kiefer Sherwood set the hitting record in a season at 462. He also got 40 points to go with it. The problem with the ADP of 116 is I don't think we should expect 40 points from Kiefer Sherwood, especially if he plays in the bottom 6. I understand the value of peripherals, don't get me wrong, but I would not draft him anywhere in the top 140. Of course, it depends on your league settings and the value of hitting, but there's a lot of nice options point-wise in the top 150. Evander Kane at 170 is something I like and will target for Cats leagues. I don't have extremely high hopes, but he's a player I always like due to his competitive nature. I don't know how much the injuries will affect him, but in the late rounds, he's worth a gamble. In Vegas, we have Jack Eichel, who played more than 69 games in a season for the 3rd time in his career and first time since 2019. 94 points in 77 games. Jack is on the last year of his contract and he'll get paid $10 million this year. With the cap going up, he'll be looking for more money and getting similar stats to last year. I think this is exactly what we can expect if he stays healthy. When I play ODR, I wear my Jack Eichel's jersey 90% of the time. He's one of, if not my favorite player in the league. But I gotta stay unbiased for fantasy and for you guys. I would not draft Jack Eichel before at least the 3rd round due to his injury history and the amount of quality centers you can get later in the draft. I think 17 is too early and it's too much of a risk. Dorofeyev, on the other hand, is 24 years old and will be an RFA looking for a raise. 35 goals, 52 points, and an incredible 254 shots on goal makes him a prime target for points leagues at his ADP. He's got potential to be a consistent 30 goal scorer, and we should see him eclipsing the 60-point mark this year. For banger leagues, Jeremy Lauzon is not to be forgotten. He only played 28 games last year, but if he can stay healthy, he's the defense version of Sherwood without the points. His ADP of 177 is nice for Cats leagues and banger leagues. Alex Ovechkin is turning 40 this week, and his age really is a non-factor in my opinion. You know what you're getting, 35 to 45 goals with 65 to 75 points and a bunch of power play points. Great target for 4th or 5th round. Connor McMichael is a boomer bust fantasy piece. He's consistent, having missed 2 games in the last 2 years. His peripherals are pretty bad, so you have to rely on the points. Very good for points league. You can skip for Cats leagues here. John Carlson is a guy I'm personally targeting around pick 100. He should be quarterbacking the PP1 again and exceed 50 points with the ceiling even higher. John Carlson will try to cash in a nice contract for the last time as he is now 35 years old. The Winnipeg Jets are going for the Stanley Cup. They added Jonathan Toews, who hasn't played since 2023, and Gus Nyquist, who is a great middle 6 piece. Fantasy-wise, too many question marks for these two guys. Adam Lowry is decent plug for banger and face-off leagues. Cole Perfetti is in the last year of his bridge deal and will want to maximize his earning on the next contract. Every year he gets a little better in all realms. His ADP of 177 is very low risk to start the year. And finally, Cal Connor has an ADP of 17. He's gotten 28 power play points in 3 of the last 4 seasons. Since 2018, he's 10th in shots and 8th in goals across the league. Still, there are players I like a lot more for round 2 going behind Cal Connor in the draft. So personally, I'm not taking him in the top 24. But it's not necessarily a bad thing if you do. And that's it. Those were most of the important players on contract years this season. A quick recap of guys that I really like at their ADPs on contract years are Jason Robertson, Martin Nakash, Logan Cooley, Yevgeny Malkin, Patrick Laine, and Boone Jenner for Cats Leagues. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for making it all the way here and watching all the way through. If you like the content, support us, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back with more insights and more advice for you guys. See you guys soon.